Hey guys, Yukine here. In this video we're going to be going over Xenon Advent, team compositions, general strategy guide. Looking at the party info, the only one I would really highly recommend in here is Carolina. She is a tank unit. She provides 100% attack to the entire party. I don't have her built up, but if you do have her built up, it's probably better. Generally, I have a Tayo, but generally I'm going to be running Ramu for the HP increase to wind and water allies. Rue just because she's Rue. There are a few effects that she can help with. I'm in Esna. Most people, if you have a water DPS unit, it's going to be Esna. Tayo just dropped from the admin dungeons list, but he was relatively easy for a 4-star to get. So if you have him, I would highly recommend running him in here as well. And then lastly, my 5-star Carolina for the attack bonus. The main difficult part of this fight is going to be the second round. The first round introduces you to one of the main mechanics on the actual boss fight. When you do damage to these enemies, once they get to a certain percent health, they will get a berserker buff. So here we can check it. Increases attack and attack speed, decreases damage taken, removed by spirit slaughter. So if we kill these little minions, they will put a calm effect on the enraging enemies, which will remove that enrage effect. And in this case, this is a very similar mechanic to the actual boss fight. When he enrages, you want to kill the minions that are with him, because that will unenrage him or remove that enrage effect. Then we'll just clear this first round. The second round, you just want to get through that round as fast as possible. The boss takes reduced damage to everything besides water, which is his weak element. So Chimera. As long as, and it's, if you have like an Esna and a Tayo, it's pretty quick. But yeah, decreases damage taken from all elements other than the disadvantageous elements. He's a fire unit, so he's going to be taking extra damage to water. But other characters aren't going to be dealing nearly as much damage. If you do have your Carolina maxed out, or at least at like 50 or something with some decent runes, that would really speed this up. I mainly just rely on Tayo and Esna to do damage for this. He does have a AoE that applies poison, right? Which is unfortunate. That makes you take damage instead of healing. And you also take damage every turn. He also applies a AoE and a blind effect. And he's just going to keep stacking this. So we just want to kill him as fast as possible. In this case, I'm going to even use my Esna's third skill if I really need to, just to clear this a little bit faster. My Tayo, I did get a multi-strike, so that did enough damage so I can get to here. So Xenon, The very first thing we're going to want to look at is buffs. He does have a resolve where he revives with some, I think, like 30,000 HP. And he'll enrage at that point as well. Rampaging Demon Sword, chance to cast Looming Death on the enemy when attacking while Berserker status is active. You're going to be wanting to run Karen or Rue for this. In my case, I went with Rue, just because she has a team-wide Looming Death removal from her passive. While he's berserking, he also has a counterattack buff up, and then just the berserker buff: increased attack and attack speed, decreased damage taken, removed by Spirit Slaughterer. So in this case, I'm going to actually try and get these characters a little bit healthy, and then I'm going to kill one of these guys to remove the enrage effect. So that applied the calm effect, so that removed enrage and his other buffs. So at this point, we're going to just slowly do damage to him until he enrages again. Generally, I'm going to want to save my Rue heals, or my Rue revive, for Taio, just in case he dies. But I believe when you drop him to 50,000, he goes into his next phase where he'll enrage again. Taio multi-striked that, so he's going to berserk. And Esna did enough damage to get him to the revive phase. So at this point, I'm just hoping my Taio does survive enough that he can just finish the boss off. Taio's really good in here just because if he drops below 50% health, for the first time he'll get a 70% damage reduction. And then at that point, the boss is really only going to be dealing like 400 or 500 damage to him. You could even run Karen. So like in this case, I'm going to try and run in Karen instead. If I can find her. There she is. So Karen removes one debuff from an ally at the start of her turn, whereas Rue will remove one abnormal status from all allies at the end of her turn. So if anything, I can actually, let's just run with Rue and Karen. In that case, I'm going to be running a lot of water, so I can just run with Taio leader for that counter attack. Deimos is another option. He can remove Looming Death with his second skill. I don't have him at 60 yet. But if I was going to do that, I could run Esna with the leader. So we'll try that for the next round. But generally, as long as you have a unit that can kind of deal with that Looming Death effect, you should be good. These guys are susceptible to Mental Seal. So if you can get a killing blow with Esna, that'll really speed this round up. And again, for the second round, we're going to want to kill him as fast as possible. In this case with Tayo though, I'm going to still be saving his third skill for the boss. No, I will not be running Christian with Umbrella Girl. That's not going to happen. Yeah, after you get those first time bonuses, arenas, dailies, those are your main ways you're going to be getting crystals. I did not want that to happen. At this point, I'm going to be just relying on Tayo to nuke Xenon down. Because once he drops below half, he's going to enrage. And I don't want that damage going out. We're going to preemptively heal. Just to get Tayo back to full. So we'll nuke. At this point, Tayo's going to have 2 turns of his 70% damage reduction. So I do have that at max level for his third skill. So now we just have to deal with this enrage phase. He's going to be counter-striking a lot, applying Looming Death, applying the no healing debuff. But again, Tayo has his passive. He also has just straight up his damage reduction right now. So we're going to just rely on him to finish him off. And then for this last run, we're going to run it with Esna leader with an all-water team for that 60% attack bonus. Let's check if I have any water helpers. I do have some Tayo helpers, or an Esna helper you could run. In this case, let's switch Deimos out. We still want to keep Carolina for the 100% attack bonus, but we can go with like a helper Tayo. So yeah, Mental Seal really speeds this up, just because they'll end up killing themselves. So here again, we kill the one minion to drop that enrage buff. And generally, we'll get him down to about half health where he enrages again. Then we can remove that. And at that point, it's pretty safe to just kind of take him out from there. So yeah, it's 50,000 where he goes into his enrage. So we're going to wait for him to apply that enrage effect, and then we're going to go and kill this minion to remove it. And at this point, we'll kill him to activate that resolve, and then we'll finish him off. And that's how you do Xenon Advent.